time, folks! Woo! Man, it stinks!
Sting, the one constant in WCW. I can't overstate how important Sting was to the entire organization. He transitioned from Surfer Sting with blonde hair to Crow Sting, the foil to the heel faction NWO, through the Wolfpack, and much, much more. A true team player who stuck it out to the very end. He spent 14 years in WCW until WWF ended up buying their competition. In the final ever WCW match, Sting defeated Ric Flair with the Scorpion Deathlock in a decent match. Was this their best match of all time? No, but it was a fitting way to end WCW, having two of the most prestigious WCW superstars wrestling on the final Monday Nitro ever. At this point, Sting had a decision to make. Would he sign with the WWF and try his chances there, or would he wait for his contract to expire and collect his pay he had earned? Sting sat it out, and he watched as some of his fellow WCW alumni went to the WWF. What Sting saw upset him. He was mostly upset about a promo with The Rock and Booker T. Sting had this to say.
And then he turns around and they look at each other, and The Rock looks at Booker T and he says, "Who are you?" That one little comment is all it took to just bury somebody, in my opinion, bury somebody like, Booker T.
In 2002, his contract with WCW had expired. At this time, it was time for him to decide once again. Would he go work for the WWE? He had meetings with WWE and Vince McMahon and even says that they treated him very well. However, he still did not trust how the WWE would use him. Sting believed in his mind that they wanted Sting more to undermine WCW than to use him as a talent. Sting chose at this time not to sign with the WWE. After about 2 years on the sideline following WCW's closure, Sting would eventually join TNA Wrestling. Sting would work in TNA for over a decade and had an amazing career there. I could talk lengthy about his ups and downs in TNA and Impact Wrestling, but I'll save that for another video. The Icon left the company in January of 2014 after he lost a title versus career match against Magnus. Sting decided not to resign with TNA because he wasn't happy with the offer they put on the table. This would be the very same reason some of the main top TNA stars ended up leaving the company. TNA simply could not afford them anymore. On November 23, 2014, WWE would host its annual Survivor Series pay-per-view, which featured a main event of Team John Cena versus The Authority. If Team Cena would lose, all the members of the team would be fired. If Team Authority lost, they would no longer be in power in the WWE. The Authority, well, they were basically Triple H and Stephanie running the WWE. This 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match was a pretty standard up until the end. It came down to Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler on their respective teams. Seth Rollins would go for a huge curb stomp, but he missed. Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble ran down, but Dolph Ziggler took them out. Ziggler nailed the zigzag on Seth for the pin, but Triple H pulled the ref out. Noble and Mercury attacked Ziggler, but Ziggler fought them off and set them into Stephanie, who flies off the apron onto Triple H. Seth Rollins would do a buckle bomb to Ziggler, but missed the curb stomp. Ziggler would hit the zigzag, but there's no referee. A referee ran down, but Triple H nailed him in the back of the head. Triple H mounted Ziggler with the right hands. Triple H would do a clothesline and deliver the pedigree. Here he laid as Rollins was put on top of Ziggler, and Triple H called for a referee. Before a new referee could count to 3, the lights went out and a video played.
It's Sting!
The roof blew off the arena. Finally, after all these years, Sting was in the WWE. He slowly walked down to the ring and the crowd went nuts. Sting and Triple H faced off. Triple H would take the first shot, but Sting would counter with a kick to the gut and a Scorpion Death Drop. Sting then draped Dolph Ziggler over Seth Rollins for the 1, 2, 3. What a great night. The heels in charge, the Authority, were no more, and Sting was finally in the WWE. The following night on Monday Night Raw, we would see the farewell of the Authority, and Triple H would address the elephant in the room, Sting joining the WWE. Triple H says Sting came out last night
To stand in a ring with me for 30 seconds and make your career relevant somehow?
He goes on to say without the Authority in the WWE, the WWE would survive no longer than 3 to 4 weeks. It took about 1 month before the WWE brought back the Authority to the WWE. On the December 29th episode of Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins would threaten to curb stomp Edge, who was retired due to neck problems at this time. Seth said that John Cena could save Edge if he reinstated Triple H and Stephanie and the Authority. John Cena does so, and the Authority are now back in power.
What did you just say, huh?
I said I'd bring back the Authority!
Once the Authority came back, they fired all the members of Team Cena except for John Cena himself. The Authority versus John Cena storyline would continue, and on the January 19th episode of Monday Night Raw, Cena would be booked in a 3-on-1 handicap match against Seth Rollins, Big Show, and Kane. Just as it looked like Cena was going to lose, Sting was shown on the Titantron. Sting would then come down to the stage, causing a distraction, helping John Cena to win. This win gave the recently fired Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Eric Rowan their jobs back. On the February 9th episode of Monday Night Raw, Triple H would issue a challenge to Sting. Triple H said that Sting was the one who almost cost him his job. Triple H goes on to say that Sting was the face of WCW. WCW was the company that Triple H helped destroy. 14 years Sting stayed away from the WWE because Sting knew that he would be personally exposed by Triple H. Triple H says that Sting attacked him like a coward, and he challenged Sting to meet him face to face in the ring at Fastlane. The lights go out and the crow music hits. Sting is now shown in the crowd. Then a video played. The lights went out, they came back on, and a fake Sting appeared in the ring. Triple H's reaction was really good here. He hit the ground, and the lights went out, and the Sting was gone. The video finished playing, saying, "I accept." Sting and Triple H had a confrontation at Fastlane on February 22nd. Triple H said that he admired that Sting went down with WCW as the ship sank. He said that Sting could live on forever on the WWE Network and DVDs, and even go into the Hall of Fame. He said 2015 Sting could be bigger than ever. Or we could do it the other way, and Sting could continue to disrespect him. And if he does that, he'll be erased from history. The choice was up to Sting. Triple H ended up taking a cheap shot at Sting and then went for the sledgehammer. Just as he was going to use it, Sting pulled out the famous baseball bat. Sting made Triple H cower in the corner, and then he did the infamous point to the WrestleMania sign. The match was set: Sting versus Triple H at WrestleMania 31. Sting and Triple H competed in a no disqualification match, and this would be Sting's first official WWE match. Midway through the match, Sting locked Triple H in the Scorpion Deathlock submission hold, and this prompted DX to enter the ring. Sting knocked down Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, and X-Pac and countered Triple H's pedigree and threw him to the outside. He then launched himself off the top rope onto all four men. Triple H performed a pedigree on Sting for a near fall and retrieved the sledgehammer from under the ring. This then prompted the three original members of the NWO to interfere on Sting's behalf. The NWO members took out DX, and Sting dropped Triple H with the Scorpion Death Drop for a near fall. Sting then locked Triple H in another Scorpion Deathlock. Triple H tried to grab his sledgehammer, but Hulk Hogan pulled it out of his reach. Causing another brawl between the factions, Triple H was still locked in Sting's submission hold. Shawn Michaels then appeared and executed the sweet chin music on Sting. Triple H went to pin Sting, only for Sting to kick out. Triple H grabbed his sledgehammer from Billy Gunn, Hall tossed in the baseball bat, and there was a standoff between Sting and Triple H with both of their weapons. Sting struck Triple H in the gut with the bat and struck Triple H's sledgehammer, which snapped in half. Sting then trapped Triple H in the corner and landed a Stinger Splash. Sting went back, was going for another Stinger Splash. However, Triple H picked up that sledgehammer, hit Sting in the head, and won the match. After the match, Triple H and Sting shook hands, while the commentary speculated that the rivalry between WWE and WCW had been put to rest. Watching as a fan live, I love seeing the NWO versus DX. But watching this back, it made zero sense. For a major part of Sting's WCW career, he went up against the NWO. He was the sole person to take down the New World Order and win the WCW Championship. After all these years, why would the NWO help out their biggest rival? Also, we as fans were smart enough to know about the Clique. Most of the guys in the NWO and DX were buddies, so to see them fight never felt real to me. What should have been a redeeming career moment for Sting became a pointless WCW versus WWE storyline that was only put in place to finally kill off WCW and to have WWE be the winners of the Monday Night Wars. To this day, I still laugh thinking about the fact that WWE really had Triple H beat Sting at WrestleMania. Sting would not be featured for a while after this. On August 24, 2015, Monday Night Raw, the Authority was giving a life-size statue to the then WWE and US champion Seth Rollins. It was time for the trophy ceremony. Triple H, Seth Rollins, and Stephanie were all in the ring. There was a statue platform and a sheet covering up this giant statue. Drum roll, and they pulled back the curtain. It was Sting! This would set the wheels in motion for a Sting vs. Seth Rollins match at Night of Champions. Sting would eventually destroy the real statue by tossing it into a garbage truck. Seth Rollins was livid. Before the pay-per-view, Sting would have 2 matches on Monday Night Raw. One against the Big Show where he won via DQ, and a tag match the same night where he and John Cena defeated the Big Show and Seth Rollins. At Night of Champions, Seth Rollins defended the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Sting. During the match, Rollins would put Sting through an announce table. Sting then performed a Scorpion Death Drop in the ring on Rollins, but Rollins was able to get his foot on the bottom rope. The match was going as planned until Seth Rollins delivered a buckle bomb to Sting. This caused Sting to suffer a legit neck injury. You could tell this was bad for Sting. He wrestled the rest of the match in pain and even collapsed a few times during it. Near the end of the match, Sting would get the Scorpion Deathlock in, but Seth would find the ropes. Seth would then go for a pedigree, but that was countered. Just as Sting was about to put him in another Scorpion Deathlock, Seth rolled him up for the 1, 2, 3. Sting lost his match to Seth Rollins in what was his final WWE match of all time. When Rollins was celebrating, Sheamus cashed in the Money in the Bank contract. This would be a way to quietly phase out Sting from the WWE title picture. The title match with Rollins would be Sting's final match in the WWE, and during his WWE Hall of Fame induction speech, Sting announced his retirement from the WWE. In October of 2020, his contract with WWE expired, thus ending his career with the WWE. Sting then has since signed with AEW and is scheduled to team with Darby Allin to take on Team Taz at AEW Revolution 2021. So what happened with Sting in WWE and why did it go so wrong? Well, from the moment that Sting was brought in, his entire run was about WWE versus WCW in the Monday Night War. The biggest mistake they made with Sting was positioning him versus the Authority. To me, the Authority is one of WWE's weakest factions of all time, and one that gets legit heat from the fans. This group, led by Triple H, is rarely ever praised. When Sting came into the WWE, he should have been promoted via all the great WCW accomplishments, and they should not rely on that as a crutch for the storytelling of him. Even if you were going head-to-head with WCW versus WWE storyline, that one you'd want to tell would be him versus The Undertaker, not Sting versus Triple H. Never in my craziest fantasy matches from the rival companies would I want to see Sting versus Triple H. Sting is an S-tier wrestler, while Triple H wasn't. Triple H was great, but Sting was on another level. Sting was always afraid that WWE would use Sting to bury WCW, and to be honest, that's exactly what they did. During their WrestleMania match, you had the NWO in the corner of Sting, which I said hated Sting for most of their run as the group. On top of that, you had Sting lose to Triple H in his first ever match with WWE, and to have them celebrate that WCW versus WWE, well, that war was finally over. This made it seem like Sting was the letdown of all of WCW and its history forever. He looked like he was the biggest loser of all time. He did move on to face Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship, but it just didn't work out. Sting was forever stuck in the Authority storyline, and an injury during his match, Well, that forced him into retirement from WWE. At the end of the day, Sting's WWE run will be mostly forgotten, and it will have an okay WrestleMania moment with DX versus the NWO. What I will never understand is why they didn't book the dream match that everybody wanted to see, Sting versus The Undertaker. The Crow versus the Deadman was the only match that everyone really truly wanted to see. At this point in his career, he wasn't going to wrestle all the time, and he was mainly a big attraction type superstar. Having Sting versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania would have been one of the biggest WrestleMania matches of all time, and it would have been a feather in the cap of Sting's entire pro wrestling career. If done correctly, this match could have been the final match for both Sting and The Undertaker. What an epic ending that would have been for both guys.